안녕하세요, 여러분. Can you guys hear me? 제 말 들리시나요? Guys can hear me? Please leave a comment in the live chat. 루크님 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 그리고 대트님도 오셨네요. 어디 갔어? 대트님 안녕하세요. Thank you for joining the stream again. It's always so nice to see your name on the live chat. 그리고 태미님도 안녕하세요. 너무 반갑네요. 반가운 이름들이 많네요. 네, so many familiar usernames. Toe Twister. That's a very unique username. And I also like your profile picture. I love your dress. And 어디 갔어? TJKS님 안녕하세요. 이상하다. 잠시만요. Why do the live chat window disappear whenever I click on the comment? That's so a little annoying. 잠깐만요. Let me try it again. 로비님 안녕. 축하드려요, 쌤. 감사합니다. 감사합니다. Thank you for joining the stream. By the way, guys, it's not going to be anything like super special, but I will first explain how the giveaway works. And for the rest of the stream, we could just talk freely about the Korean language, the culture, or whatever comes to your mind. So it'll just be a relaxing, chill time, not anything like special, like a special event. 아셨죠? 그리고 코멘트에 아주 familiar username 많아요. 키스님도 오셨고, 리암님 안녕하세요. It's your first time joining my stream. 여러분 모두 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 셰니스님도 오셨네요. 트와일라이트님도 오셨고, 바오님도 오셨고, 아이카님도 오셨고, 다들 반갑습니다. 우선은 여러분, thank you for your Korean lessons. They help me so much. I love it. I'm so glad I could help. 네, 너무 기쁩니다. 일단은 여러분, 그럼 giveaway 설명을 드릴게요. 잠깐만요. Let me change the screen back to my iPad so I could explain the giveaway. 잠깐만요. 어떻게 슉 이렇게? 됐다. So you guys see the black screen, right? Black screen 보이시나요? 일단은 I'll briefly explain how the giveaway works, guys. 잠깐만요. Let me put it in front of me. 일단은 여러분 그 giveaway 설명을 드리겠습니다. giveaway 조금 크게. So here's how the giveaway works. There will be 7 winners, 5 international readers, 그리고 2 readers in Korea, living in Korea. 그리고 the publisher will send the copies to overseas readers, the international readers, and they will likely cover the shipping cost or send the book via the POD, print on demand, and I will be personally sending you 2 copies to the winners in Korea. And you know, the book given away is my recently published Absolute Beginner's book, and that's the only one available at the moment. And as much as I love to send like upper level books, they aren't published yet. So, but I'm still working on it. So for now, we'll stick with the beginner's book. And since this book is for absolute beginners, it would be the most ideal if it went to someone at that level. But even if you're not an absolute beginner, you're still welcome to join. You're welcome to join if you want to. 어디 갔어? 여러분 스크린 사라졌죠? The screen is gone. There you go. You want to brush up on 한글? 아니면 you'd like to better understand pronunciation settings? Or if you know someone who has just started learning Korean and want to gift it to them. So if you'd like to join the giveaway, how to join? Just let me know why you'd like the book. And I'll select the winners based on your responses. and I'll send you the books accordingly. So you can either email me at explorekorean12@gmail.com, either this, or you can also DM me on Instagram at explorekorean. So that's how you can join the giveaway, guys. 네. So, 네, 이건 그렇고요. 일단은 잠깐만요. 아이패드 좀 치웁시다. 아이패드를 아닌가? 잠깐만. 아이패드 치우지 말고 이렇게 할까요? 잠깐만요. 요거를 카메라를 카메라 어떻게 줄이지? 잠깐만요. 됐다. 이렇게 줄입시다. 이렇게 줄여가지고 for the rest of the stream, guys, let's just talk freely about anything related to Korea, the language, the culture, and I would also like to discuss with you about, the future direction of my content. It's been something that's on my mind lately. 네, I've been thinking a lot about like what my focus should be regarding content, because that helps me to keep consistent, right? Moving forward, I don't want to I could do various things. Whenever the idea comes to mind, I could always make it into content, but I also think it would be helpful to stick to a schedule, or stick to the format. If I could do grammar content consistently, as for emerging content, I could do one type of content consistently rather than spreading it all over the place, or with various sorts of formats, if you know what I mean. 무슨 말인지 이해하셨으면 좋겠네요. 아무튼 그래서 얘기를 해볼게요. 여러분, do you guys have any question? Let's first start with Q&A. Q&A부터 시작을 해볼게요. Q&A. Q&A부터 시작을 해봅시다. Do you guys have any question? Please make speaking content. speaking content 관심 많으시구나. 그리고 speaking content is one. Content, speaking practice content, right? Not just speaking, it's not just listening itself. 잠깐만요. I don't really like how this screen reflects my reflection, so 잠깐만요. Let me put up the 어디 갔어? 잠깐만요, 여러분. Excuse me for a second. 됐다. 슉. 어디 갔어? 됐다. It shows less reflection. I think it's better. Michelle님, but you don't respond to DMs. 맞아요. I don't respond to I guess 80% of the DMs, just because. So let me give you a backstory on this. At first I did respond to every single DM that I get. I've been answering to questions, like Korean questions and stuff. But what ended up happening is that the same person kept DMing me to ask questions. And some people would kind of get, I guess, angry whenever I don't respond back. So that's kind of been stressing me out. So I thought that it would be wise not to accept DMs, especially the ones that's asking questions. 그래서 I think for questions, having a regular Q&A session like this would be much better than one-on-one DMs. I hope you understand that. 그리고 아이패드를 어떻게 사용하시나요? 아이패드 어떻게? How do I use iPad? I just use it. I use it to type. I use it to write something on. I sometimes use it for drawing, but I'm not a good drawer. But sometimes. 네, 그렇게 사용하고 있어요. 그리고 농협은행 유행어가, 여러분, 농협은행을 빠르게 말하잖아요. 농협은행. 이러면 약간 농협은행이 sounds very similar to 너무 예쁜행. 농협은행 kind of sounds similar to 너무 예쁘네 with an accent. So 너무 예쁘네, 너무 예쁘네, 너무 예쁘네, 농협은행, 농협은행. Don't they sound kind of similar? So it's become kind of a, how do you say, like a trendy word these days to mean, oh, it's so pretty or you're so pretty. 농협은행. But 농협은행, by the way, guys, it's the name of one of the Korean banks, like the real banks. But then it ended up becoming like a trendy word these days. That means something so pretty or you're so pretty. 그런 뜻이 있습니다. 농협은행. 그리고 been watching your vids for a while now. First time tuning in, a live stream. Oh, thank you for joining. There's nothing much happening. So I'm just, letting you guys ask away questions. Preferably about Korea, the language, the culture. And after that, I think we could talk about, I guess, what's been on my mind lately regarding the content on my channel. 네, 여러분 미안해요. I'm feeling a little nervous today. So whenever I turn on the camera, I feel very, very nervous because I don't usually do that. I usually do stream off camera, right? Without the camera, just by sharing the screen. So I don't know. This is so, I'm not used to this. So please understand if I'm, not very good at this. More listening practice would be really helpful. 맞아요. 근데 the thing about listening practice, I think, is that there are already a lot of materials, a lot of YouTube videos out there for listening practice. So at first, I thought I should follow the trend, but then I'm like, maybe I could try something different. So maybe not just listening focus, but I could combine speaking and listening practice together, like the content where it allows learners to practice speaking and listening at the same time. So what do you think of that, guys? I think that would be really helpful. And actually, it would also be fun to make for me. It has to be something fun to make for me. Otherwise, I think I would just stop quite fast. And do you play APT? 여러분 혹시 APT 들어보셨나요? Rose's and Bruno Mars APT. It's so fun. It's such a fun song. 아파트 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 아파트. It's so fun. It's been my number one track to go to listen to. And it's difficult to answer questions from such. 맞아요. This is exactly what I'm talking about regarding DMs. As much as I love to answer every single question and every single messages, I'm also a human with limited amount of like mental energy and physical energy. So that's practically impossible for anyone, not just me. But I'm really glad that you guys are understanding of it. 맞아요. 그리고 I will take SKA this Friday. SKA가 뭐예요? Sorry for my lack of knowledge. SKA가 뭐예요? I don't know what SKA is. Could you please explain what it is? I'm quite curious. 네. 배운 게 없노? Saw these words used by a native Korean. Just one. 노가요. How do I explain the no ending? So this is not. So this is considered a sentence ending for dialect, maybe in the southern part of Korea. 네, 근데 네, it's dialect. You can just consider it a dialect. 사투리예요, 사투리. 태민이, thank you. Writing or speaking practice. So what do you guys prefer, writing or speaking? 어떤 게 더 좋아요? So for speaking practice, I'm thinking of letting you guys, while watching the video, actually open your mouth to speak. So a few parts of the video can be about that. Like I could record the instructions saying, I guess, I don't know, say your answer in response to this person's remark. Kind of like that. I do have to think more about it. But then the speaking practice will will be will be made kind of like that. 네, 근데 what do you guys prefer? Writing or speaking? Miss Vicky, I finally made it to another live. I have a question. Do Koreans like the increase in tourism in Korea, or do they get annoyed sometimes? Oh, I actually like this question. I think the increase in tourism is mostly for bigger cities like Seoul, Busan, but not so much for smaller cities. So, I mean, I don't think any Korean will hate the increase in tourism because that also means, uh, in a more casual term, more money to Korea, right? So I don't think that's a bad thing for any Koreans. But as for I don't know. So I have been living in Seoul for 8 years, and then I moved back to my hometown around like 5, 6 years ago. And whenever I visit Seoul these days, I'm just so overwhelmed by the amount of people. There are a lot more people than it used to be. I mean, there were already a lot of people, but then there's more people these days and more foreigners these days. So I mean, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I like it. I like that there's more diversity in the city. 네, so I guess I need more time to think about it or to organize my thoughts on that. But it's nothing negative. I will say that it's nothing negative. 네, nothing negative. Just I guess for introverts like me who don't necessarily like to be in like too crowded place, there could be varying like differences in perspective, but yeah, overall it's great. It's great. But yeah, I do have to admit that there are a lot more foreigners these days in Korea than it used to be, because around like 10 years ago, even in Seoul, if you walk around the city, people will stare at you. But then I think it's less the case these days. So that really proves how many more foreigners there are in Korea these days. When are the beginner sessions? How do I use the website if I'm a beginner? Beginner session. 맞아요, 여러분. 근데 I already have a lot of beginner focused videos on my channel. So I recommend, I guess, checking that out first. But I will try to alternate between intermediate sessions and beginner sessions. So, 네. 그리고 for my website content, they're all assembled in the order you can take and by level. So feel free to click on the course that fits your level. If you are an absolute beginner, feel free to take absolute beginner course. If you are high mid beginner, high beginner, then feel free to take beginner 2 and 3 courses. But the thing about my website content is that from beginner 3 course onward, it's not complete yet. And I do think these days I'm beginning to think that I could restart working on my website content. I haven't been really paying attention to my website for a long time. So maybe this is the right time for me to start that. But I'm definitely planning more grammar content, which will be incorporated into my website. So I guess those two are related in a sense. I need to know how to say goodbye in hello and goodbye in Korean. Oh, so in casual language, they're both 안녕. 안녕 is used for both hello and goodbye. And 잠깐만요. 여러분, my iPad keeps cutting on and off, which is kind of annoying. It is so annoying. I'm sure you guys see the black screen with nothing on it, right? And it's because it's disconnected right now when the cable is still on, which is weird. 근데 여러분, 그러면 여기다 쓸까요? 안녕하세요는요. 아이고. 여기가 아니구나. Technical problem. 오, 어디 갔어? 안녕하세요. It's so uncomfortable. 네, 이렇게 해야겠다, 그냥. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Hello. 안녕히 가세요. Goodbye. 안녕히 계세요. Also goodbye. Add. So here's how you can say hello and goodbye. For 안녕히 가세요, it means peacefully go. So you say this to someone who's leaving. And 안녕히 계세요, it means goodbye. You can use it for someone who is staying and you're the one that's leaving. So that's how you can say goodbye and hello in Korean. Ooh, I like that idea. I can find a lot of listening practice, but speaking is what's hard to get. 그쵸? 그쵸? I'm quite keen on making speaking practice videos these days. So, 네, I will try that. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to know that, you are for this idea. So, 네, I will try that. AT is very catchy. 네, 아파트, 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 아파트. 너무 좋아요. 그리고 선생님, 한국어 말하기 연습할 수 있는 앱 알고 있나요? 한국어, 영어는 알거든요. 영어는 아는데 한국어 I'm not sure of the app that specializes in speaking practice only. 모르겠어요. Speaking practice는 잘 모르겠네요. 근데 I do know of an app where you can make native friends and you can talk with each other through audio, through voice chat or messages. I'm pretty sure you guys know as well, like apps like Hello Talk, Hi Natives, you can use those things. But I'm not really sure of the app that's specifically for speaking practice. It's like topic but free. SKA 말하는 거구나. That's new knowledge for me. Speaking would be better, right? Speaking 괜찮죠? 그리고 I prefer both speaking and writing. 잠깐만요, 여러분. 이거 the iPad is back. iPad가 다시 돌아왔네요. I'm sure it'll continue to cause some issues, but 어떻게 할까? 그냥 모르겠네요. 그냥 여기다 둘까요? Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it away. 미안해요. I like to be in control of things more. I prefer both speaking and writing. Both. I guess you could customize speaking practice content into writing ones, right? Because rather than using your mouth to speak, you could always use your hands to write down what you want to say. So I guess it works both ways. It's really whatever you want to practice, either speaking or listening. 근데 I do see a lot of speaking, a lot more speaking. SKA가 이거구나. 오케이. 알겠습니다. Do you have any Korean books recommendations translated? 요즘에 그 한강 있잖아요. 한강. The writer 한강 won Nobel Literature Prize. So I guess it would be nice to check out her books. 한강님. 여기다 적어볼까요? 한강님 책 추천드려요. 근데 these days, after the news of her winning Nobel Prize, it's all sold out. You cannot find it in any bookstores because it's sold out. And even in libraries, it's all out. 네. So it would be quite hard to find them these days. But after like the heat dies down, probably like a few months later, I think it'll be more easily available. 안녕하세요, 선생님. 잘 지내고 계신가요? 네, 잘 지내고 있어요. Random people living in Seoul's 북촌 한옥 village do not welcome tourists. 북촌 한옥 village. I wonder why. 왜 그런가요? 사람이 너무 많아서 그런가? 모르겠네요. I think I'm really struggling about because no one can correct me. 사실 이럴 때는 I do think that it's a good idea to have a tutor in this case who could correct your writings. 네, 그런 것도 좋을 것 같아요. 아니면 you could always make a language exchange partner. So you can correct their mistakes with English and they can correct your mistakes with Korean. So I guess that works. Reciprocating, right? 다음에, are there K-dramas that actually help with Korean? I do think that movies or dramas based on high school or like middle school can be really helpful because that way they use less of adult languages, like professional terms, but more casual terms. So yeah, I do recommend movies or dramas with high school setting. That way they use a lot of casual, words, expressions. So it'll be easy, not only easier to understand, but also a good, resource. It could also be a good resource to pick up the new common Korean phrases or expressions. Are there any 카라? 카라 어떤 거 말하? Is this the name of a fandom? 팬덤 말하시는 건가? I said that because I live in New York City and there's so much tourism. Okay. In Korea, I think it's the same. We do have mixed feelings, mostly positive just because it's good for the economy. But then I think as the time goes by, some people, I think, might get tired of like too many tourists being around because of the same reason, especially introverts. They don't like, too crowded places, like I said, for the same reason. I think that's probably the case anywhere, and especially because Korea is too small. Even Seoul is not, Seoul itself is smaller in comparison to other, international big cities. So in such a small area, for such a small area to have so many people, that's, I think, that could in long term not be safe either, because too much population inevitably kind of cause problem, right? So yeah, I guess we'll have to see. But I do think that Korea nowadays has too many population, too many people compared to its size. 네, 그런 것 같아요. In my opinion. How hard is it to get topic 4 or topic 5? It's not hard. I think you're referring to topic level 4 and level 5. It's not, I wouldn't say it's difficult as long as you can consistently keep at it. 네. And as long as you do what's needed for the test, right? So memorize the essential vocabs and what else? And I guess like regularly taking mock tests to test, to keep track of your level. 그런 식으로 계속 하면은 네, I don't think it's super difficult. It's not like a rocket science difficult. 네. As long as you keep at it, I'm sure you can pass it. 그다음에, it's been a while since the last time I attended your live videos because college life has been really busy. 맞아요. College life. 대학생이시구나. But your recent content is really great. Thank you so much, Kyle님. Yes, I feel like it's been quite some time since I last saw you in the comments. 네. 근데 대학교 공부 힘드실 텐데 화이팅 하세요. 대학교 공부하면서 한국어도 같이 이렇게 꾸준히 하기가 쉽지는 않은데 그래도 힘내시길 바래요. 너무 피곤하시구나. 너무 피곤하면 if you're too tired, you don't have to You don't have to kind of juggle Korean and your college schoolwork. It's okay. 네, 괜찮아요. You'll come back. I'm sure you'll come back, right? 가연님 화이팅입니다. 김맥스님, Hi Miss Vicky. 맥스님도 안녕하세요. Good morning. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 다음에 Are you still studying Korean history? If so, where is your interest taking you to? 맞아요. 이것도 I do. I still do read Korean history books, and I wanted to create part 3 of Korean history video, but I just couldn't find the time. So the thing about history video, guys, is that, or I guess it's just the pressure that I put on myself that it has to have good editing. So first of all, the part 1 video, I think it took 2 months to create, not just for scripting, but also for editing. Like I also had to draw maps because of the copyright issues. And so that all together took 2 months. And I guess it was kind of worth it in a way that it let people enjoy the content even more. But then I think for part 2, I kind of rushed making it without like much consideration into editing. So that didn't take much time. So at the back of my head, I keep thinking, see, history videos have to have good editing. Otherwise, people will not take interest. So I think that's pushes me back from creating it. But what do you think, guys? What do you think about me continuing with Korean history videos? I also think that it could be quite distracting for me, as I plan to focus more on the Korean language itself rather than like the culture and history. Although as much as I would love to make those content, it's fun. But then it's also, I worry that it could be distracting. So I haven't really made up my mind on it yet. Or maybe I could do blog post, right? I could always do a blog post. What do you guys think? Just let me know what you think, guys. Just freely let me know. It doesn't have to be, it's not like I'm going to take every single feedback into consideration. So you guys don't have to worry about pressuring me. Just throw it away. Throw away what you have in mind, what you think would be best. And I will, based on those feedback, I will try to come up with the middle ground, like the sweet spot. I have trouble reading, even though I know the alphabet. Oh, you mean reading as in your reading comprehension, right? Not just reading words. That takes time, of course. Just because you know the alphabet doesn't mean reading comprehension skills automatically follow. It's something that needs practice and training. So don't worry. It's normal. It's normal. Tandem and Hello Talk, 맞아요. You can use this app for finding like language exchange buddies. 트이다. 트이다 is for speaking practice. 트이다도 speaking practice라고 하네요. Just use Discord. 맞아요. There are many Discord channels for Korean language learners. So you guys can practice with each other on Discord. I used to have a Discord group, but I don't plan to open it anytime soon. 네. 디스코드는 제 생각에 저한테는 잘 안 맞는 것 같아요. 뭔가 제가 너무 overwhelmed 돼가지고 디스코드는 열지 않으려고 하지만 there's so many other Discord channels, so feel free to check them out. ChatGPT can help with Korean speaking. 맞아요. You can use ChatGPT nowadays has that 그 말도 하잖아요. ChatGPT can speak now, right? In any language, and I think ChatGPT's Korean is becoming more natural as they update their whatever. So 네, I think it's a good practice. 네, it's a good practice tool, but I also think one downside of practicing with AI is that it's kind of hard to keep consistent with it compared to when you practice with like actual people. Because let's say you set a schedule with your teacher, right? That way you feel more responsibility to stick to the schedule and keep your promises, and not to interrupt, like not to not to mess their schedule up, right? But for AI, it's kind of like whatever. AI has no feeling, so none of them matter. So it's easy to kind of not stick with it. So I guess they both are fine, but I personally prefer like person to person interactions more for that reason. Miss Vicky, so I know you study. Okay, actually, this iPad noise that this cable is making is annoying, so I'll just disconnect it. All right, Miss Vicky, so I know you're studying Chinese and I'm studying Japanese, and they both use Chinese characters. And I was wondering how you memorize such difficult characters. What is your method? 이거를 그냥 just associate the word with meaning. It sounds very simple. I know. And not 어떻게 설명할지 모르겠네요. 예를 들어서 잠깐만요. I need somewhere to write on. 예를 들어서 예를 들어서 you see actually guys, I think it's better if I use this. 잠깐만요. No proper pen. 여러분 미안해요. 잠깐만요. 여기 있다. 예를 들어서요. 아니면 이렇게 할까요? 그냥? I think this would be a lot better idea if I just write on paper, right? Why haven't I thought of that? 일단은 예를 들어서 뭐 이게 사람이란 뜻이잖아요. So, for example, this Chinese character means 사람, which is easy to kind of associate, right? Because this one actually looks like a person. 그리고 이거는 이제 물. This Chinese character means water, right? Water. And so by looking at this Chinese character or by writing along, you keep thinking, this is water, this is water, this is water. And let your brain do the rest of the work. That way, it's easy to memorize it. 네, 그래서 it's actually, I don't want you to feel that it's too daunting because it's actually not. When you get used to the Chinese characters, the more you get used to it, the easier it'll feel. And the easier it'll be to remember even like a more complex character. So that's my tip. It's simple. I hope you find it helpful. It's not, it's not like very crafty or anything, but it works. 네, it does work. 네. I think sometimes the most effective method is the simplest one. So I hope that helps. Randomly. Thank you so much for the suggestion. No problem. Not yet at level 4, and it gets much harder between higher levels. 그건 맞아요. 근데 I also think that for test, to pass it, you also need to study with a method that's best for passing the exam. So here's what I mean by that. So just because you pass a certain test doesn't necessarily mean you are like fluent, right? For example, I passed HSK Chinese exam level 5, but that doesn't mean my Chinese speaking is fluent. So I do think that passing an exam and fluency it could be related to a certain degree, but then they could also be quite separate in many cases. So even without being fluent, you can still pass the test if you use the study method that's catered to passing the test, that's beneficial for passing the test. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are interested in taking topic and are actually wishing they could pass. So I right now I think it would be a good idea to make a video about like topic tips, how to study for it and how to pass it as soon as possible. So I will think about that. I will think about making that tip-based video, or I could also write a blog post about it. 네. 블로그도 한번 해볼게요. 왜냐면 for videos, guys, for me, editing takes too much time. Like I not only have to prepare for lessons, film it, and then have to think about what kind of editing should be in the video. And I personally think that's quite energy draining for me. So I'm trying to make use of blog posts as well moving forward for the topics that I'm interested in, that I'm enthusiastic about, that I'm very keen on talking about. But at the same time, I feel too lazy to make video for it. I will think about creating a blog post instead. 그렇게 한번 해볼게요. 선생님, 만약에 내성적인 편이라면 그냥 요즘 챗 GPT에서 말하기 연습도 할 수 있다고 하던데 그것 좀 추천드리면 맞아요. 내성적이면 할 수 있어요. 내성적이면 할 수 있는데 I think if you are an introvert, you could also prefer one-on-one interaction, right? I personally prefer one-on-one interaction above like, 1 to like 10. 그래서 both work, honestly. It's really whatever works for you. 네. Whatever works for you is the best method. No matter what other people say. 그리고 한국 사람들이 독서를 많이 좋아해서 유명한 책들이 품절되는 법이죠. 한국 사람들이 독서를 좋아한다고? 그런가? I think that really depends on the person. 네. 근데 like a Korean person, like the first ever Korean to win Nobel Literature Prize, it's like big news nationwide. So yeah, naturally, I think that prompts many people to buy the book and read it. It's only natural, I think. I know how to speak Korean a little, but I want to learn and write Korean too. You want to learn and write Korean, which means you haven't learned Hangul. Is that what you mean, harpit님? You haven't learned how to read and pronounce Korean alphabet, harpit님? 대답해 주세요. 마시멜로, 비키님, do you have any tips on memorizing Korean vocabulary for Chinese speakers since you've studied Chinese before? 오, 이거는 근데 I don't think you guys need any tips, honestly. 네, 그렇지 않아요? 그냥 vocabulary가 there are many similar sounding vocabulary between Chinese and Korean. For example, I guess the most notable, the most common, easiest example would be 도서관 and 도서관. 도서관 and 도서관, they both mean library, and they sound pretty similar. And also, what else? 비집은, no. 창호, no. What else? I'm trying to think of something else. There's so many. But whenever I try to think of something, it's just my mind goes blank. I don't know why that happens all the time. But there are so many similar sounding words. 变化, 변화, change, 变化. What else? 쇼지, no. 뭐가 있지? 아무튼 되게 많잖아요. 그래서 그런 것들은 for those kinds of words, you can just easily it'll be naturally registered in your mind just because it's similar. And for other vocabs, you just need to memorize it. You just need to memorize it. You just need to get exposed to it a lot. I think that's the only tip. 네, you have to. 네, that's simple. As simple as it is. I guess that's how it works, right? Honestly, 네, 여러분, 근데 I think that it's not the most, I guess, ideal attitude to expect some sort of like overnight tip for language learning. It takes time for everything, right? It takes time. It takes some work, right? So yeah, it's just as simple as that. Just put in some time, put in work, and your vocabulary skill will improve. It's really simple. 네. 그래서 일단 그렇게밖에 지금은 생각이 안 나네요. How do I practice speaking without having the option to chat with natives? Oh, why do you think you have no option to chat with natives? You can always find one through apps like Tandem, Hello Talk, Hi Natives. 네, they're everywhere. There are so many Korean people who wish to learn English, who wish to become fluent in English. So you guys can help each other. 네, help each other become fluent in each of your own mother tongue. So 네, you can find them anywhere, even if you don't come to Korea online these days. Is there any movie or series you love recently? I recently watched a movie called 아빠는 나. 아빠는 나라는 영화를 봤어요. The reason why I watched this is because, or after watching it, I thought it would be really fun to kind of do classes with it. But unfortunately, I cannot share drama clips, at least like longer drama clips on YouTube because of copyright issues. So I thought it would be really nice to do maybe like a Zoom course out of it, but it's really fun. 아빠는 나. It's originally from a Japanese webtoon or Japanese drama, but it's also adapted into Korean movie. The Korean name of the movie is 아빠는 나. It's on Netflix. 아빠는 나, which means dad is me. And I think the English title of this movie was Daddy Issues, which I don't really think does justice to the original title. But basically, it's about a story where the body of a father and a daughter changes. So it's kind of like a Korean version or Asian version of Freaky Friday. Have you guys heard of that movie, Freaky Friday? Where this time a mom and a daughter's body changes. So they experience each of their lives, each other's lives in each other's body. That's what happens, and it's very fun. I really liked it because it's also the setting's based in high school as well, because the daughter is a high school student, and it has a lot of slang words, not only slang words, but also some of the professional words, because Appa works at a company. And so I thought it would be a really perfect balance between like casual words and some of the advanced words, but that are still used in daily life, especially among like adults. So 네, 이거 되게 좋아요. 아빠는 나 진짜 좋아요. 되게 재밌어요. I laughed a lot watching this. 그리고 그렇고요. 그다음에 in your opinion, do you think 사자성어? 맞아요. 사자성어. I'm pretty sure, especially foreigners would love to study 사자성어, because you can not only learn the language, but you can also learn like the backstory behind each 사자성어, which involves culture, history. And so, 네, 사자성어, I do recommend it. There are many Korean who wants to learn English, and so to many people. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. 맞아요. Father of Boss님. Thank you for the answer. I need to get topic mix. 2025년에 for my career. You're coming to work in Korea? 베리님, 한국으로 일하러 오실 생각이신가요? 500k subscribers. 네, 감사합니다. I applied for scholarship in South Korea. I really hope you get accepted. 네, 너무 좋습니다. Friendly English tip, vocab is already considered plural. Vocabulary and vocab. Okay. Thank you for the great tip. Thank you. That was very useful, Mike님. 그다음에 Sam, have you tried teaching Korean language in the public schools yet? If yes, I'm curious how the class set up and students nowadays like. Public schools, not in Korea, but I have taught Korean. Like I was on a volunteer trip to one time Ukraine and the other time Vietnam to teach Korean, but not inside Korea. I've never taught Korean in Korean public school. So I'm not sure how it's like these days. 근데 요즘에 되게 많을걸요? I hear that there are a lot more like foreigners coming to Korean schools to study Korean. So I'm sure it's more crowded these days, the classroom. There are more students. I would say 80%. 15 history. Oh, so you guys are interested in history still? I guess I should think about that. I like the idea of using blogs or Instagram posts. Oh, that's a good idea. I was actually thinking how I could make the most of my Instagram these days. I could do that. 그렇게 할 수 있을 것 같아요. I'll think about it. I suggest using historical literature as a content to extract, to tackle both language and history. Historical literature. Ooh. Okay. I'll think about it. It's just really hard for me around the SOV order, especially in longer sentences where there are multiple verbs and adjectives. 맞아요. I think it's natural for it to take time when the target language that you're learning have different word order from your native language, right? I think it applies to everyone. So that's why I think for Koreans, it's easier to learn Japanese way more than it is to learn English or other European languages. And same for many of you guys, many of you who are from, I guess, whose native language has quite similar word order with that of English, then you might find English relatively easier to learn. But with some of the other languages that have opposite word order, then it might not feel as easy, and that's natural. I think that applies to everyone, unless you are like a prodigy that can learn a new language in like 10 days, unless it's that. I think we share the same struggle. I like understanding culture history of Korea. Somehow it helps me remember. 그래요? I mentioned once that I could understand my country, the new age, because I learned some of the history. Oh, 맞아요. I think I read your comment on it, 맞아요, which I thought was very interesting. So yeah, I do think that learning about the culture and history of the country whose language you're learning is helpful. Also, can also be helpful to improve your language. 네, 그래서 I really do want to continue history series, but I also have to think realistically and think about how the distractions, 너무 힘들까 봐, basically. I worry that trying to make too many content might end up making me feel too drained. So I really have to find that balance. But I really want you guys to know that I'm still interested in Korea. Still interested in Korean history. So 네. As I said, guys, I will also take into consideration opening up writing a blog post about it. Your Korean is so good. I'm not sure if that's a compliment because Korean is my native language and I am Korean. 그리고 for the history lessons, I think it's because it covers some history. 맞아요. 맞아요. For example, the most notable example is probably 세종, who invented Hangul, the Korean alphabet. So, 네, 맞아요. 그리고 진짜로, if you really dive deep into Korean history, there's so many more interesting stories, Or you know what? Maybe I could create a second channel where I talk about Korean history only. 그랬으면 좋겠는데, I think that would also be a good idea. 네, but at the same time, like I said, I also have to be realistic about it and think about the balance, my energy and stuff in terms of if I can handle it. So 네, 일단은 I really do need to think more about it. Adriana님, thank you for subscribing. 감사합니다. You're my favorite teacher on the internet. Wow, thank you. That's such an honor. Like there's so many teachers about so many other topics, not just Korean, but the fact that you think you consider me a favorite teacher, that's like very humbling. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. I will take you mean the topic tips, right? I will. 네. I will. 써볼게요. 블로그 포스트. I enjoyed your history videos, but if it's taking your time from teaching, don't feel like you need to make any history content. 맞아요. This is also a very realistic advice, realistic approach. Because at the end of the day, my mental health and physical health should be the top priority, right? So but at the same time, I still want to continue, it's always a struggle between these two. Like too much enthusiasm, but then lack of physicality, like lack of physical stamina to actually make everything come true. 아무튼 그렇고요. Okay, be careful. Pray for yourself if applying for MS. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking to me, but okay. 키보드 정말 귀여워요. 혹시 이 키보드 말하는 거예요? 아니면 were you talking about my iPad keyboard? 요거는 그냥 it's an iMac keyboard and the other one is iPad keyboard. 네. 근데 I do agree the iPad keyboard is quite cute. It's so small and it fits into every backpack, so it's easy to carry. 아무튼 그렇습니다. 그다음에 some time ago, I saw a piano in one of your videos. Do you still play? My piano hasn't been 맞아요. 저도 my piano hasn't been touched for a while applies to me too. Hoping to start again. I like classics, but I don't play pianos anymore. I sometimes feel like it would be nice if I learn it again, but then I will put it this way. I'm more keen on studying Korean history or Chinese language than learning how to play piano. Does that make sense? I hope what I'm trying to say comes through. So these days, not at all. I'm thinking of maybe selling it too, because it hasn't been touched for I guess more than 9 months. So what do you guys think? Should I sell my piano? 피아노 팔까요? I'm a native Chinese speaker. 진짜요? 맞아요. 근데 one of my cousins is studying in Hong Kong right now, and her roommate told her that she knows some native Chinese speakers using my videos to learn Korean. So I was very excited, like, wow, So thank you for using my videos. Thank you. 네, my Chinese, is not like that fluent. So, one day I wish I could do lessons in Chinese, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't think my Chinese will ever be fluent to that level, but I still appreciate you for following my lessons. Hello, Vicky. I'm coming to Korea 내일이요. You must be so excited. Welcome to Korea. Linguists argue that 90%? That's not true. 90% 아니에요. 그거는 아닙니다. 그리고 in most Korean server, many of them say no to Duolingo. I don't know why. Meanwhile, many recommend channel and ban channel? ban 채널은 뭔지 모르겠네요. ban? 혹시 빌링 말하는 건가? 아무튼 듀오링고는 글쎄요. 저는 듀오링고는 like a few years ago, I guess like 10 years ago, around like 10 years ago, that's when I first started using Duolingo to kind of touch on the basics of language of Western languages such as Russian and Spanish. I forgot most of them now because I don't I'm not learning those languages right now. But back then I found it quite helpful. But I think Duolingo works best for Western languages more than it does for Asian languages. 네. I think it's because the creator of Duolingo is probably from a Western country. That's just my guess. I'm not really sure. But I have seen a lot of Asian language learners saying that they don't find Duolingo helpful. 네, 네, 그렇습니다. 그 다음에 Is there any website to learn Korean while watching movie? 모르겠어요, 이것도. 근데 아마도 있을 것 같긴 해요. 근데 not that I know of. 그리고 I was studying Korean in one app and I figured out it was teaching me poorly. 아, 오케이. 두올링고가 좀 그런 단점이 있나 봐요. 그 무비 봤어요? 아빠는 나 보셨어요? 그거 정소민 나오는 거잖아요? 정소민, the actress 정소민. I enjoyed it quite a lot. 안녕하세요, 비키님. 저는 2년 전에 비키 선생님 수업에서 한글 수업부터 지금 수업까지 한국어를 배우고 있어요. 지금 다 쓰고 읽고 있어요. 좋아요. 쓰는 거, 읽는 거, 말하기 다 연습하고 계시니까 아주 좋아요. Would it be okay if I can add French language? No. If that's your native language, then go ahead. It's really whatever helps with you, with your improvement. 네. More than trying to find like the best, most ideal tip, because you will end up spending time mostly on finding the tip rather than actually taking into practice, actually learning. So I really think that tips don't really matter unless it really works for you. The tips that don't work for you, you can just ignore it. 네. 그렇습니다. 다음에 오웬님 안녕하세요. In my view, you are the best when covering grammar lesson. 진짜요? 감사합니다. You know what? The weird thing about me is that I really, really love doing grammar lessons. And, I do both grammar lessons and like immersion content these days, right? But I feel like the effort I put into preparing for grammar lessons don't feel like effort. I mean, there's still effort, and I still try to build on that natural effort that comes from me. But still, it doesn't feel as much effort as it is when I make like the immersive content, like the effort that the effort and time I invest in, editing feels a bit less natural for me. Like I do need to work harder. Like, it feels like more work compared to when I'm preparing for grammar lessons. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that really aligns with who I am, I think, because it comes natural. I think that's why, like moving forward, I want to do more grammar lessons than emerging content. Even if emerging content is like the trend these days, I just think it would be more beneficial, for me to. I just don't want to get too deep, so I'll stop here. 미안해요, 여러분. 그 다음에 however you like, video editing takes time. Yes, 맞아요. 그리고 in Korean movies and series, it is often shown that there's bullying in school, sometimes very extreme. So what do you think? Is it true? Is my school verbal bullying? So you know what, guys? I don't think you guys should take everything that happens in Korean drama as real. They're just for drama. They're just for dramatic effects. There are many bullying scenes. Well, it does happen, of course. Bullying happens in Korean schools, but in drama, it's shown more extreme because it's for drama. It's to make it more fun. It's to attract more viewers. So, 네. it works the same way with some of the nice things about Korean dramas. Like people think, so Korean men and women are portrayed so nicely, usually, like especially the main character, so nicely, so pretty, so handsome in K dramas. But that's not the reality of every Korean person, right? So yeah, drama is just drama. It's for dramatic effect. It's for entertainment. So that's not real life. Korean drama is not real life, guys. So, but bullying does happen. Bullying does happen. It's not like it never happens, but they're trying to make up what's not in real life. No, it's not that. But it's just that it's more dramatic. They want more dramatic effect. 그렇습니다. 그리고 I enjoyed the content you made with your brother. The one with doing. 여러분, 여기서 I would like to do a quick poll, guys. So as for emergent content moving forward, if I do create them once in a while, what kind of emergent content, what type of emergent content would you prefer? Conversation type, like the one that you mentioned, 푸리님, such as the recent content I made with my brother, conversation, or do you guys like real life, like photos, videos, like descriptions, describing real life, like what's happening in photos and videos in Korean? And the third one would be the types of video where I gather like 70 common sentences, 100 common whatever, that types of video, those types of videos. Which one? Out of one, one, two, three. Which type of emergent content do you guys prefer? Let me open a poll. 폴을 한번 시작해 볼게요. Survey. 잠깐만. This doesn't work. 잠깐만요. I do need to open the window. 어디서 해야 되지? 잠깐만요. Can I open for Q&A? 설문조사. So for emergent content, one type of emergent content you prefer best. 일단은 1. Conversation. 2. Describing photos, videos. 옵션 추가. And then like 70, 100 common, whatever, blah, blah, blah. 설문조사 시작. So let me know which option you prefer best. It's up on the chat. Meanwhile, let me go through some of your comments. What giveaways will be given? I already explained it in the beginning of this video, so you can either play it back now. You can play it back now or after the live stream. You don't have to apply it now. You don't have to apply it now. You can always apply after stream. I always try it hard to understand number. 잠깐만요. I'm considering Chinese also. Learning Korean has given me. Okay. Thank you for sharing your stories, guys. I started learning Chinese, Japanese, Spanish because of Korean. Recently. So, okay. So I will keep it. You might end up wanting to play something randomly, but if it's not tuned. Okay. So, Elika-nim's opinion on whether I should sell the piano, I would keep it. You might end up wanting to play something randomly if it's not tuned. 네. So I guess, then I guess I'm leaning more towards selling it. I use a language reactor extension while watching. 맞아요. I know what you mean. 네, 그것도 괜찮은 방법 같아요. Can I apply for a Korean scholarship without topic? 아마 안 될걸요? Probably not. 네, probably not. I'm not sure 100%, but probably not. Unless um it's for like, I guess, a very special field. Oh, I'm not sure. 미안해요. I don't have like the proper correct knowledge on this, so I might not be the best person to answer this. But I think most scholarships require topic, 네, unless it's like a certain field. That would be my answer. Ooh, how can I practice thinking in Korean instead of translating from my native language? Oh, you can start with simple sentences. You can start with simple phrases from 안녕하세요, 안녕. These are simple enough to come out of your mouth naturally, right? Without effort. You can start with the easy ones, short ones, and then you can move on to more complex ones. It's really step by step. 그렇게 해보시면 돼요. Just intentional. Just be intentional about not thinking in your native language. Just only in Korean. Even if you speak like, I guess, like a 7-year-old or 8-year-old or like a young kid, that's fine. That's where you start, right? So you can start from there and keep on improving. 제일 좋아하는 고양이 영상? 아, 그거 좋아해요. 그거 뭐였지? 고양이 노래. 아이고 Meow song 알아요? 키스님? Do you guys know 아이고 Meow song? I really like that. 네. 아이고. That has gone viral once on Instagram. I think a couple of months ago. It's really fun. 아무튼 그거 좋아하고요. 나디님, I'm German and I live in Korea currently and your lessons are way more informative. 진짜요? 진짜요? Wow. You know what? These kinds of comments really encourage me because it just makes me feel assured that I'm on the right track and that it gives validation to I guess my determination that I should keep creating grammar content. So thank you, 나디님. That means so much to me. 너무너무 감사합니다. 그리고 맞다. poll, survey result. Where do I check it? 컨버세이션이 진짜 많네요. 여러분 컨버세이션을 좋아하시는구나. 일단은 알겠습니다. conversation을 알겠습니다. I will take you guys' feedback into account. Conversation 75% and the rest 25%. 그렇구나. 오케이. 알겠습니다, 여러분. 생각해 볼게요. Thank you for letting me know. And I will close the survey. survey 닫을게요. Going back to your comments, since you like teaching grammar much more than immersive, how about then when you teach grammar, just drop in a paragraph or when 네네네. 그렇게 할 거예요. 맞아요. I like the idea of mixing grammar and immersion. Actually, that works great. 네. It doesn't have to be immersion focus, right? I could also include practice session or writing session inside the grammar video, right? This works perfectly. 네, 아주 좋아요, 태민님. 정말 고맙습니다. Thank you for the great idea. I think that works. 그리고 as for like the separate emerging content, I feel like you guys seem to like the conversation type more than the other, so I will think about that as well. Korean typing tips to learn faster. There's this program or app specifically for practicing typing in Korean. I cannot think of the name of those programs, but you can always type Korean typing practice on Google and it will lead you to that program or that app. It's free. They're all free. So feel free to use those types of programs. From a long-time lurker. For everything, teacher. Thank you. 감사합니다. As an introvert, how do you spend your free time? 아, 여러분, 맞아. These days, 여러분, it's kind of a big news. Like big news on my part, but you might not think that it's much of a big deal. But I recently sold my car, guys. I sold my car because like I don't really commute to work because I'm a freelancer. 뭐야? 비키쌤 한국어가 왜 댓글을 남겼지? 뭐지? 잠깐만요, 여러분. 비키쌤 한국어가 왜 댓글을 남겼지? I don't remember commenting anything. Why does my username appear on the chat? Or maybe it's just for me. I don't know. It's just the error on my side. Whatever, guys. Just ignore it. I recently sold my car because I don't need to use it as much as I did when I was commuting to work. So, 네, now I plan to take more trips. Domestic trips. By train. 네, 그래서 네, I'm kind of excited. So I first thought of making like a travel vlog or something, but what worried me is that I might be too how do you say? I forgot the word. I might what I worry is that I might end up obsessing over like filming to make the perfect vlog, which will take away the joy of present moment, right? Like releasing the present moment. So for now, I don't really see it like happening. But 네. 네, 요즘에는 이제 여행 많이 다니려고 하고 있어요. I hope that answers your question. And I also love to read books. I also love to spend time with my cat and also 네, go hiking with a friend. 네, I love hiking. So that's what I do. That's what I do. Whew. And how often do you do lives? 여러분, 혹시 what do you guys think of me having live classes or live sessions once a week with a fixed schedule? What do you guys think of that? So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a full scale class all the time, but I think it would be nice to kind of stick to like a regular schedule just so I could keep myself grounded. What do you guys think? 라이브를 이렇게 정기적으로 regularly 할까요? Once a week? And if so, which day and what time do you prefer? 그리고 who did the illustration? One of my I should call her illustrator, not designer, right? Designer friend, do it for me. 네. 이쁘지 않아요? Do you guys like my new profile picture? 이쁘지 않나요? 요즘 한국의 날씨는 좀 추워지고 있어요. It's getting colder these days. Have you learned 2 languages at once? I have when I was much younger, like when I was like in my early 20s. Back then I was a enthusiastic linguist and I would learn like both Spanish and Russian. That's before I started learning Chinese. So yeah, I have tried that, but not anymore. 네, not anymore. 그리고 just dropped by to say hi. Hi, 디팡님 안녕하세요. Thank you for the nice words. Try to make vlogs. I might try to share some photos on Instagram. But maybe it could evolve to vlogs. We'll see. We'll see where it leads. But 네, I'm excited to be a 뚜벅이 again. 뚜벅이. 여러분 그 뚜벅이라는 slang word 알아요? 뚜벅이? 뚜벅이요. 요게 뚜벅. 뚜벅 is an onomatopoeia word that describes the action of walking. So 뚜벅이 has recently become a slang word for someone who doesn't have a car. It's not derogatory, not necessarily, but it refers to someone who doesn't have a car and who just travels by walking or public transportation. So I'm back being 뚜벅이 now. So I'm looking forward to my 뚜벅이 life. 네. That will unfold moving forward. 네. I think it's gonna be helpful for my health too, because these days I haven't really been moving my body as much, which has caused me some stomach troubles. And so I really, really need to take time to exercise more, to move around more. And I think that's gonna be quite helpful for my health too. 그리고 I understand what you mean. 맞아요. I actually agree with this. Schedules are 맞아요. Double-edged sword. You can gain some structure, but also can start to feel stressed out. 이거 진짜 맞아요. I think that's why I've been quite hesitant about like making a schedule. 맞네요, 맞네요. 네. Thank you for your perspective. 키스님, your advice really helps put things in perspective. So thank you, 키스님. It's been a while since we have a long. Not really. 아니요. No, it hasn't been a while. Well, maybe like a few weeks, because my last live stream class was around 2 hours. I think it was around 90 minutes, which is close to kind of 2 hours. So yeah, I've been keeping up with it. 네. And I plan to keep up with it moving forward as well. 안녕하세요, 비키쌤. It's my first time watching your live. Welcome, Rose님. Welcome. 감사합니다. Thank you for joining the live. Many people are saying this, I think. Yeah, so this is something I definitely need to take into consideration. Yes, we really like your profile. 감사합니다. Hi, Vicky 선생님. As a Korean language student, your videos have been immensely helpful and you have been an inspiration since day one. 오, wow. 그렇구나. I'm so happy I could help. 네. You know, comments like these inspire me to work harder and keep creating and coming up with better like content, better teaching methods. So thank you. Thank you so much for 진짜요? I just ordered your book on Amazon. Thank you. Wow. Thank you for ordering the book. 네, 감사합니다. 책 사주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 썬더님. 그리고 아이칸님이 maybe twice a month in between you could do review so that you have time to prepare. Twice a month is fine. 네, I think twice a month is fine too. 맞아요. 이것도 I still need more thinking. 다음에 저도 오해님도 뚜벅이세요? 뚜벅이 엄청 좋아요. There's so many benefits about being a 뚜벅이. I think when you have a car, just the whole convenience kind of keeps you from, I guess, doing many things. As for me, at least for me, that's what happened. Like, for example, even if it's short distance, I would take a car with me because I didn't want to walk, and that's more convenient. But, when you're 뚜벅이, you do more research, you walk more, you breathe in more air. So, 네, I'm quite excited. It was kind of hard giving up the convenience that cars bring. But I'm happy with my decision. 네, I'm very happy with my decision. 다음에 I love hiking and reading too. Do you experience perfectionism? And try best not to. 근데 perfectionism이 맞아요. I think perfectionism can be harmful if it's above a certain degree, but I do think that it could also be a driving force for you to, I guess, actually do something. Or maybe perfectionism can also be something that prevents you from doing something because you want it to be so perfect that you don't know where to start, right? So that kind of perfectionism is not ideal. But I do have perfectionism myself. 네. I don't think it'll like ever go away as long as I'm like a human being, right? Yeah, but I try to deal with it in many ways. I think talking about it with you guys kind of help. It does help, and it really helps me put things in perspective. So, 네, I think what I'm doing right now is kind of a way for me to, find a middle ground and, move away from being, too perfect and trying to control everything. So, yeah, but this is something that I struggle with too. 그렇습니다. But we have the same We share the same hobbies, right? Hiking and reading. Oh, Michelle, are you an introvert? I think you mentioned that you're an introvert, right? Because I usually find that people who likes to hike and read are usually introverts. So I love it. I love it. Cool. I'm new to your channel and I don't know from where to start. You could start with my playlist. It really depends on your level, but have you learned basic like Hangul and the pronunciation structure? If so, you can check my Korean alphabet playlist. And if not, you can move on to Korean grammar playlist. You can check out the first few videos, and from then on, you can decide which video you would like to check first. In your live class, weekly ones is the best for me. 위클리도 사실 좋죠. 매주 하면 좋기는 해요. 좋기는 한데, like a lot of people said, what worries me is what if it drains me, right? So I do need to think about it. I usually end up watching live class video so I can pause between doing other activities. So having a flexible schedule for the live class is also good. 그쵸, 그쵸. 그쵸. 맞아요, 맞아요. 맞아요. You can play it back anytime you want. So I guess I don't have to obsess too much over having like a fixed schedule, right? And I personally think that I have the type of personality where I do best when I try to make things flexible. You know what I mean? And not be stuck by like a set something, whether it's schedule or pattern. So 네. 일단은 생각을 좀 해볼게요. I really appreciate a lot of your feedback and opinions. Hello, Miss Vicky. I'm getting back and studying Korean and just discovered your channel. Thank you so much for your helpful lessons. Welcome, 리오스키님. 환영합니다. 제 채널에 오신 걸 환영해요. 앞으로 자주 뵀으면 좋겠네요. Miss Vicky, you don't need to film in free time. That would be too overwhelming and it will take away the idea of... I don't film in free time. Don't worry. I don't film in free time. I do have my own free time. But 네. 맞아요. I appreciate you looking out for me though. 네. 그리고 can you please actually 샤니스님, you were talking about the travel vlog, right? Right. Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood you. Sorry. I took you the wrong way. 맞아요. While I'm traveling, at least for the first few weeks, I want to try just enjoy the scenery at the moment rather than trying to film it. So travel vlog, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But 네. travel like photos 이런 것들은 커뮤니티 포스트나 뭐 인스타그램. I can also share like beautiful photos from my trip on community posts on YouTube or Instagram, right? 그래서 네, I will not stress too much about filming it. Thank you, 샤니스님. Thank you. I appreciate it. Can you please tell me or suggest some books that I can learn to write and speak Hangul words? Obviously, one book that comes to my mind is my own book, Absolute Beginner's Book. So on Amazon, you can type All You Need Korean for absolute beginners. And you will find my yellow book. It's yellow book on the page, on the search results. So, 네. I recommend my book because I know how hard I've worked on it. 근데요, 여러분, I also want to talk about books, guys. Maybe it's TMI. Or maybe I might not share it now. I'll just keep it to myself. 네, I'll just keep it to myself. So the basis of what I was trying to say is that I feel like I've worked too hard, like unnecessarily hard on, making this book, writing this book. because this was my first book, and at the back of my head, I really wanted to make it perfect. So I do feel like, yeah, I worked hard on it, but it's not like I'm very proud of working too hard on it, because looking back, I didn't really have to go that far. You guys, so here's a little like backstory behind the scene of this book, guys. This book went through five 교정, five proofreading, 5 rounds of proofreading. And I didn't have a native English speaker proofreader because at first I didn't know about it. But then after it got published, someone told me that if you are not a native speaker and you write a book in English, usually the publisher will quote unquote hire a native English speaker proofreader for you. But I didn't have that. I didn't have someone beside me. So I had to go through all the 5 rounds of proofreading, which was very, very, you know, yeah, it was hard work, to be honest. And so there, but I've learned my lesson. Like not everything can be perfect upon first try. And this is my first book. So although I can proudly say that I did work hard on this book, I'm not necessarily proud of just the hard work itself. I could have kind of taken it down a notch and not feel pressured to make it perfect, because there are other books too coming, right? The next series for the next levels, which I think is more important. Um, so yeah, that's the behind the scene, guys. 네, that's just the behind the scene. 아무튼 그렇습니다. Please keep doing what you do. Out of all Korean lessons I found online, yours have been the simplest and yet most comprehensive, especially in Korean grammar. I will keep making Korean grammar content. Thank you for the encouraging comments. Doing your new full-time teaching now for several months, have you thought about where you see yourself in a couple of years, like 4 years? Oh, I see myself doing this. 네, doing this work, writing books, making content. 네, not anything more, not anything less. I will continue to teach Korean. That's where I see myself. Like, nobody can predict the future, so nobody knows what's going to happen exactly, but that's my vision moving forward. Anything that would keep me from these goals? Nothing. Nothing, unless I develop like some health issues and I need to stop this. Unless it's that, I'm gonna keep doing this. 네. This is the job that I like, that I love. I'm so excited to get the book tomorrow. I really hope you find it helpful. I really hope you do. Yes, I'm currently writing. So for within 6 months, there will be 3 books published, and I finished the manuscript, the first draft of the first book, which is the grammar book for low beginners, and the second book will be grammar book for like mid beginners, and the third book will be a workbook with the content of book 1 and 2 combined. So those 3 books will be published within 6 months, and I'm working on it. And writing the book, I realized that it kind of fits me. So I feel like my personality is kind of like, I enjoy like deep things. I enjoy going deep. I enjoy serious. So short forms are my weakness. I do think I'm not very good at short forms, but I prefer longer forms. That's just how like my disposition, my personality is. And I think I should embrace that. So 네, I do plan to keep on writing books, keep on 네, creating content. Preferably also do some online courses as well, like the group classes. 그런 식으로 할 것 같아요. I just started learning Korean, and at first it seemed easy, but after I got to learn that there are many ways to say one sentence, I feel like it's not that easy to learn Korean after all. 그쵸, 맞아요. 근데 맞아요. 근데 I guess it's neither easy nor difficult. 그쵸? Not easy nor difficult. 왜냐면 if it was too easy, I think nobody would really enjoy the process, right? 그래서, but there are also some easy parts too. So I guess it's both easy and difficult. at the same time. I guess with any language, right? 선생님 질문 하나 있어요. 그러니까 잘 설명하세요. 설명하세요. I do have a video on this topic. 그러니까 그래서 actually you can search for how to say because in Korean. You could search how to say because in Korean. 여기 있다. How to say because in Korean on YouTube, Miss Vicky on YouTube, and you'll find the video. 그렇게 될 거예요. 그 다음에 your book was great. I have a lot to say about the process of proofreading, but 감사합니다. 감사합니다. But for the next books, I'm gonna have a proofreader with me, so that I'm sure that's gonna ease the process more. Thank you, 태민님. Thank you for the positive feedback about the book. 다음에 thank you so much. Your content is so helpful and easy to understand. I thought I would struggle learning Korean, but you have made it doable and fun. I'm really glad that you find Korean enjoyable and doable. 네. I guess it's one of my goals to make learners feel like learning Korean can bring them both enjoyment and fulfillment. 네, 그래서 네, 그렇습니다. Again, I don't want to get like too deep, too serious, so I'll stop it here. Nobita. Recently, we had J. Kim workshop here. Because where do you live, Nobita님? J. Kim, 김재범? 아닌데? J. Kim이 누구지? 김재범이 아니라 박재범이구나. He's the guy I was talking about was J. Park. Sorry, I got them mixed up. But what he was saying in Korean, because I was feeling I'm studying a lot, but learning. 잠깐만요, 무슨 말이지? We had a Korean J. Kim workshop here in Seoul. So good when I understood. You understood what he was saying? A lot, but not learning. But you feel that your studying kind of pays out, right? Because you're understanding what he's saying. That's good. I think that's a really good part of the process. 感想直播了，喜欢你之前分享的手写法。对我学习还帮助很大。맞아요. So as for for me writing on the sketchbook, teaching on the sketchbook, I prefer that too. But I also get some comments pointing it out that I'm wasting too much paper. And so that's why I stopped teaching on like sketchbook and started using iPad. 근데 I guess once in a while I could bring that back, right? Sketchbook style teaching. What do you guys think? Do you guys prefer that I either type or write on iPad or on paper, like real paper like this? Please let me know. I would like to hear your preferences, guys. Hi, Vicky. Can you please do a refresh on Hangul pronunciation? I'm really trying to learn the basics properly to have a strong foundation. I do have all the details on my book, but I will try to see if I can make a video, a refreshed video, updated video. 한번 해볼게요. 그다음에, is there a board game called? board game. 네, 있어요. It could be fun to learn. Ooh. I love board games, guys. I love playing chess. 그리고 Monopoly도 좋아하고. I love playing board games. So, this is actually a very fun idea. But at the same time, how do we play this game, right? During class. Because it's not going to be one-on-one, or maybe I could bring a friend where we play games, play board games, and then we chat in Korean. Maybe that works. Maybe that could be a part of conversation type content. 모르겠네요. 다음에 책 쓰신 거 축하합니다. Thank you. Thank you so much. Watching K-dramas now and hearing a word or phrase I understand feels nice. 맞아요. 맞아요. That's one of the benefits, one of the good things about learning Korean with like Korean media, right? You understand, and at the same time, you learn new expressions. So that's like killing two birds with one stone. 일석이조. 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 This is also one of the 사자성어. With one stone, 일석, with one stone, you catch two birds. 그리고 I was curious if you have mountains of sketchbooks and note cards. I don't mind that actually because I love using sketchbooks and note cards, and I do have mountains of them on my bookshelf, but I don't mind them. but yeah. 그렇습니다. 그리고 I prefer typing just to to learn how the letters look on a keyboard, but seeing your writing I feel is more personal and helps for everyday reading. So you prefer both, right? 맞아. 그러면 I might try to mix both too. 그쵸. 대체님도 페이퍼만의 매력이 있어요. There's this charm that comes just from using the paper, and that's what I kind of miss. It's like it feels kind of like a traditional method, it feels like a traditional style classroom, but I also need to worry about like the waste of paper and stuff. So maybe once in a while, but not every time, right? Not every time. Thanks to you, now I can understand K-drama without subtitles to some extent. That's good. That's really nice. J. Kim used to be... 그래요. I thought if I'm learning something new, I forget what I previously studied, but it was getting stored in my mind. I think, yes, exactly. 맞아요. 여러분, your studying process is worth it. It's not a waste of time. 네, it's not a waste of time. I do feel a little 속상해. A bit 속상해 when people kind of make fun of the studying process. Like, oh, you study? You learn a language by studying? That's gonna get you nowhere. But that's not true. It still works. 네, 그래서 네, studying works. 네. And I'm really glad that you feel fulfilled. Those kind of experiences accumulated, I think it becomes even bigger motivation for you to keep learning. 네. You prefer paper. 종이를 좋아하시는 분들이 많긴 하구나. I'll try to bring it back once in a while. And I actually enjoyed writing on this piece of paper today. Oops, it says my iPhone battery 5%밖에 안 남았다고 하네요, 여러분. 이제 슬슬 마무리할까요? 일단은 여러분, thank you so much for leaving your opinions, comments, feedback, advice, because it really helps me to decide where I should go moving forward in terms of content on my channel. So 감사합니다. I really appreciate you for joining this live. And like I said, guys, if you'd like to join the giveaway, you can watch back the beginning part of this live stream. And there I explain how you can join. 네. 아무튼 그렇고요. 그러면 여러분, I will end it here. 네. I'm gonna have to end the live here. It was such a fun time. 네. 너무 재밌었어요. Any other questions do you guys have before I leave? Travel님, thank you so much. 감사합니다, Travel님 also for coming. And 감사합니다. If you guys don't have any other questions, 네, I will finish the live here. 라이브를 여기서 끝낼게요. 선드라님, 키스님, 태미님, thank you all so much for coming. And for the rest of you guys too, thank you so much. Oh, it's flooding in. Christopher님, 로빈님, I am... or for me, 님, 로빈님, 데니엘님. 맞아요. 다니엘님 너무 늦었어요. Because I'm about to finish it up. Yeah, it is true that you are 너무 늦었어. But it's okay. You can watch it back. Take care, teacher. Thank you. When watching K-drama, sometimes the titles are written in stylistic Korean. I can make out the letters. map stylistic Korean. 이것도 this is something that, as I always say, that will come natural if you get used to like Korean handwritings. 네. So for me, when I was learning English when I was little, I remember it was so hard for me to get used to capital letters of English, like the text written only in capital letters, just because I was more used to and more exposed to lowercase letters. And 네, it's something that comes with a lot of exposure. 네. 그래서 이것도 그렇고요. 그다음에 keep safe. Thank you so much, 카야님. Thank you so much. 셰니스님, thank you. 여러분, 감사합니다. 다음에 또 만나요. 이제 끌게요. 안녕. 다음 수업에서 만나요. I'll see you in the next class. 안녕.